What's going on, gang members? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming Rant, and today's topic is going to be one that has been covered by my buddy Craighead Pro multiple times before. If you're not familiar with his channel, links in the description below. Go check him out. Tell him Travis sent you over to him. And the topic for today is going to be DLC and microtransactions. Now, I know he's covered this topic multiple times, but I need to throw my 2 cents in on it, and it's really starting to get to the point where it's starting to get serious. DLC and microtransactions. Let's start with DLC. DLC is downloadable crap. Okay, it's not downloadable content; it's downloadable crap. Let's just we'll use our good friends over at Treyarch and Activision as a perfect example of what I'm talking about. We all know that Activision and Treyarch every year are like clockwork in November, and they put out a new Call of Duty every year. But a couple of years ago, they started putting out this stupid, useless thing with the game that you could purchase for an additional $60 called the Season Pass. Now, the Season Pass consists of maps, some camos for your guns, and like maybe a new gun here and there. Either way, it's shit that should have been put in the game when it was released anyway. I don't know why they feel the need. They need to try and just squeeze as much money as they possibly can out of the consumers, but that's how they feel about it. I don't know if they're afraid that they're going to wake up one morning and, go to their corporate office, and then all of a sudden people are going to start busting out of a big conference room saying, "They took our job!" Second of all, microtransactions. Now, microtransactions, the best way I can give an example of them is, I don't play this stupid shit, but I know a lot of people that do. Let's say you play Candy Crush, okay, and you're stuck on a level and you only have 1 life left. You use that life, and you can either do one of 3 things at that point. You can either wait until time rolls around where it gives you more lives automatically. You can bug the living shit out of your friends on Facebook and send them those stupid Candy Crush invites. Stop sending me those fucking Candy Crush invites. I'm not ever going to accept them. Or you can go to the App Store and you can buy, we'll say, you can buy X number of lives for $9.99. And let's say you do it one time, okay? You're like, okay, I'm going to buy this number of lives for $9.99 this one time, and that's all it'll ever be. So you do it, and you notice, okay, well, that's not bad. That helped me get through what I needed to get through. And then you keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it, and keep doing it. And eventually, you've spent hundreds of dollars on fucking Candy Crush. Do not ever let people try to fool you guys and say that free-to-play is actually free-to-play, because it's not. There is always something hidden behind a paywall in those free-to-play games. And that's one thing that really scares me about the new Unreal Tournament that they're making right now. It's going to be free-to-play. More than likely, what's going to happen is, oh, you want this weapon? $10, buster. See, that's the one thing that I'm worried about with free-to-play games that just absolutely drive me insane. There is an exception, however, to the rule on occasion with free-to-play games. You take Invader Games, who's remaking Resident Evil 2 right now. That game's going to be free-to-play because it absolutely has to be. There is nothing that they can put in this game that can hide behind a paywall. Capcom owns Resident Evil 2. It owns every single bit of it. So there's nothing that they can do to force you to pay anything for that game. Invader Games is just a bunch of die-hard Resident Evil fans like I am, and they're taking their time and their own time and effort to bring us this game. They want people to actually enjoy it. And that brings me to my next point, guys. One thing that we have got to stop doing with each other, we have got to stop this whole console wars, PC master race shit. It's gotta fucking stop. Because here's the problem. We're all gamers, all of us. And we all have one common goal. And that is this. That is to have the best gaming experience possible. It should not be about what's better on this system, what's better on this system, what's better on this computer. Computers do this better. It shouldn't be about that. It should be about us getting together and enjoying games and being like the good old days. Because if I You know, I mean, I like my Xbox One. I do. I like my Xbox One. But does that mean that I would never want to play a PlayStation 4? No. I mean, I think PlayStation's got some great titles to it. I would love to play PlayStation 4. I've heard nothing but good things about them. Do I love my gaming computer? Like, do I love my computer that I built? Absolutely. I love my computer. You know, people that I know personally, would I ever want to go over to their house and hang out with them and play Mario Kart and the new Smash Brothers with them on their Wii U that they have? Definitely. I used to love playing the shit out of Mario Kart and Smash Brothers. See, that's what I'm talking about, guys. We've got to all find that common ground. Somewhere along the line, we've all lost sight of that. And it needs to snap back to reality because, you know, people are going to call me old. They're going to call me trapped in time, living in the past, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I really don't care. But the 90s, everybody's familiar with this quote. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And the 90s, where I grew up, was the best of times, especially for gaming. Right now, it is in the worst of times. And we don't need that. We don't need that. It needs to go back to the way it was back in the glory days, back in the golden era. And what I mean by that, the 90s had everything, guys. Like, everything about the 90s was good. As a kid, movies were awesome. We had fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Big Lebowski, Surf fucking Ninjas. Also, kids had we had the best snacks back in the day. Nickelodeon Slimecicles, Dunkaroos. Oh yeah. Kids also had, we had Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon was in its prime. If you did not watch Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network when you were a kid, you might as well have just, you pretty much missed over half your childhood right there. Because that's when Nickelodeon ran the fucking cable network. That's when Nickelodeon ran everyone else's shit. Hell, I can vividly remember gas prices being at 87 cents a gallon, guys. What happened to that? Statistically, the only thing that sucked about the 90s was the internet. And the only reason the internet sucked was because it had just been created and nobody understood it yet.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together to bitch about movies and share pornography with one another.
Thank you for that, Bruce Wayne. That's another thing. Ben Affleck's supposed to play the next Batman? What the fuck is that about? But the best part about the 90s was the gaming. You know, we had the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and the PlayStation had just came out, the original PlayStation. And then, in my eyes, the greatest system ever to come out was invented, and that was the Nintendo 64. You know, I know statistically that the Nintendo 64 was not the greatest system of all time statistically, but I feel like, this is just my opinion, I feel like that the Nintendo 64 was the greatest system of all time because everyone I know had a Nintendo 64, and everyone I know, we all spent countless hours together playing GoldenEye, Smash Brothers, Conker's Bad Fur Day, WWF No Mercy, you know, just hours with my brother, my friends, my cousins, you know. We all just spent so much time together playing the Nintendo 64, and it was the best time ever. Like, it's, you know, for gaming, that was the golden age of gaming, was when the Nintendo 64 came around. And it was just absolutely amazing. And it really saddens and hurts me that gaming is where it is now. You know, the one thing the 90s didn't have? Goddamn DLC and microtransactions. Back in the day when they created a game, that bitch was completely done. It was over. It was done with. They sold the game as it was. You got the full game. There was no bullshit in between. You know, that stupid fucking DLC and microtransaction shit had never even been heard of. You know, whatever happened to that? We need that back, like, years ago. The one thing we have to understand, guys, is that as long as we're in this fucking console war and, you know, PC master race thing, as long as we're apart from each other, this cancer that is microtransactions and DLC is going to continue to ruin gaming. And I'm afraid it's to the point where it's at the point of no return. And I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. Because if you really want to think about it, wrap your mind around this. Gaming companies are basically using the console wars. They're making us turn on each other. They're using us against each other so they can line their pockets more, so that they can shove these microtransactions and DLCs down our throat. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with exclusive titles to exclusive things. You know, PlayStation has Infamous Second Son. Xbox has, you know, Halo, the Master Chief Saga, or the Master Chief Collection, whatever the fuck it's called. But what I'm getting at, guys, is that until we come together and all want to believe in that common goal that I stated earlier, where we all are gamers, we should all want to have the same goal in mind, having the best gaming experience possible, it's never going to happen. We need to come together and stop DLC and microtransactions. You know, the sooner we come together and stop bickering back and forth with each other and make things like the way they used to be, and actually attempt to get along with our fellow gamer, then the sooner, that's one step closer we'll be to getting rid of the problem. Let's start now.
Yeah.